Roosh was always very interested in martial arts. He studied them when he was a kid. I think he's a very intelligent person, if not outright educated. And, he was someone who, read a lot of Eastern philosophy books. And he sort of developed the ideology for this organization, decided to give it a name, decided to come up with a list of rules. If you see some of Clay Rouche's doodlings from prison, there's always a lot of kind of Asian art in them, warrior figures that seem to be drawn from, kind of ancient Chinese mythology. If you believe what his supporters say, he's the guy that came up with the idea, that gave the group the name, that came up with the rules, that said we have to be something and we have to be significant unto ourselves and in spite of the Hells Angels. Now, of course, if you talk to some law enforcement agencies that were there in the beginning, were watching this evolution, they believe there was always an outside influence on this group of young Fraser Valley men who became the United Nations gang. And they believe that they were set up at the request of the triads, the bigger organized crime group that needed a street level presence to sell its drugs and to kind of be in competition with the Hells Angels. So, maybe it's a bit of both. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows the answers unless Clay Rouche decides to tell us. But certainly he has relationships with high-ranking triad people, including one man who's serving a sentence in prison for murder, who's been in jail since Clay Rouche was about 14 or 15. So certainly that's not a relationship that developed on the outside because the guy was Clay's neighbor or something like that. So there's still a bit of a mystery as to how Clay Rouche had those relationships with sort of bigger Asian organized crime figures, and whether the relationships came about after he formed the UN gang or before he formed the UN gang.
But they're there.
They're there.